Hello, everybody. Welcome into college football or Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football live. Sorry, I'm still a little stunned, a little flabbergasted. um, guys, I was gonna go off. I was gonna be angry. I'm still pretty angry, but overall, Texas does get the win. Let's flash that up, score up there for you. I'm sure if you guys are watching this, you saw it, but this is the 40 Acres postgame show live postgame show. I'm going to actually, for some reason, it did not save. So let's do this. Texas beats Kansas State 33-30, guys. And it was exciting. It was fun. It was a nail biter. It was a game that should not have been this close. Texas was the better team by a lot. And I could say that a lot of games this year where the game was close or even when they lost, just like Oklahoma. Or that game, Oklahoma's a better team. I'll give you that. But I think Texas is a better team overall than Oklahoma. This game, we were clearly the better team, Kansas State. And Malik Murphy just decided to say, nope, this is going to be closer than it should be. And that's exactly what happened here. We do come up with the win. Great job by the defense on fourth down. They were definitely the best unit we had all day. Special teams even had a blunder with the Ryan Sanborn block punt. But we survived. We survived, guys. And before I jump into your comments, we do have a little bit of homework for you guys. Just a little bit. We don't have a lot. We just got a little bit over here. And we're going to pull that up. It's going to be go over to ticketsmarter.com. If you guys are going to go to a game, save some money. Be easy on your wallet. Type in code BIG for $5 off a purchase of $100 or more. And type in code BIG20 for a purchase of $300 or of a purchase of $300 for $20 off or more, or $20 off, sorry. And then subscribe to our new SEC channel. Again, Texas is going to be going to the SEC. Oklahoma is going to be going to the SEC. So go over there, subscribe to that. Go over to the Big 12 channel, subscribe over there for me. Guys, we're trying to go a bigger brand at the Big 12 channel and the Texas channel. So go over to the SG1 Sports Texas channel, like and subscribe. Go over to the Big 12 channel, like and subscribe. It really helps out, guys. I really appreciate when you guys do that. And while you're here, hit the like button, subscribe down below. We're going to be here for a minute talking about this game because there's a lot to talk about. Honestly, we survived. We survived. And at the end of the day, it's a good win versus a good football team. But it shouldn't have been this close. We should have won this game by at least 3 scores. I think Sark has a little bit to do with that. I think Malik Murphy has a lot to do with that. I think those are the two culprits, in my opinion, and we will talk about that. Devin D. Taylor, what the hell was we thinking? Thank God we got the win. 100% thanking God at this moment. Big win. Texas was on my upset alert. Have there been any upsets today so far? Today, Michigan State beating Nebraska, but I actually bet on that to happen. I need Iowa, and it's probably not going to happen. I need Iowa Northwestern to go over 30 and a half points. I need them to score 31 points. They're at 0-0 in the first. So probably not going to happen. I'm going to lose that one. Momentum changed after the missed pass interference call. I would agree with you, Paxton, but Malik Murphy just can't make some of the throws he made. You can't make a throw on a screen pass that's dead. There's a screen pass is 1, 2, 3, not there, dirt it, or throw it out of bounds over the wide receiver or running back's head or wide receiver. It's a wide receiver screen. He decided to drop back to pass. The screen is not there. Roll out to the right. Oh, it's still not open. Let's turn around and jump off my back foot or throw off my back foot and throw it to an offensive lineman where a defender was in the area. It's the dumbest throw I've ever seen made on a football field. It's the dumbest throw I've ever seen made. It was a god-awful throw and god-awful decision. That was fucking pathetic by Malik Murphy. Arch Manning, I think, comes in this game. If you saw action in the BYU game, and us Texas fans were begging. I came on here after the game. You should have put him in. Give him experience. Because to me, Arch Manning's not making those decisions. I would agree with you. Talent, arm-wise, Malik Murphy probably has more than Arch Manning. Right here, it ain't it. Arch Manning has way better football IQ. You know how I know this? Watch his uncles play football. Watch his brother's high school film. Malik Murphy's decision-making is god-awful, and we got away with it. And luckily, this might be the only game left on the schedule where he could literally do that versus the other 3 teams that we play on the schedule next, and we'll probably win by 10 plus points because TCU is god-awful. Iowa State is the only one that's even a question to me if he could play like that and we win by 10 plus. And Texas Tech, we're not losing them at home in the last game of the season. So we got lucky. We did. If Quinn Ewers is playing this game, we win this game like 41-17. And I never, ever want to hear a Texas football fan complain about Quinn Ewers again. Ever. I don't give a shit if he comes and goes 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He wouldn't throw those interceptions. He would not throw those interceptions. That is freaking terrible. Freaking terrible. So I don't want to hear anything about that anymore. Congrats, Texas. Yeah, it feels like a question mark after that. Pretty pathetic performance when you're up 27-7. So I do have an issue with that. Arch to Notre Dame. Arch isn't going to transfer. Because from what I saw today, Arch Manning's a starter next year. I don't even have to see Arch Manning, and I know Arch Manning's going to be the starter next year because Malik Murphy ain't it. Malik Murphy has talent, but I cannot watch this guy continually throw balls he has no business throwing. None. They're not even 50-50 balls at this point. They're 70-30 balls for the defense at best. At best. He's a scrub. A scrub. And yes, I'm angry, and I should be angry, and nothing will change here. There's a 1% chance in hell that Malik Murphy turns into anything good. Sorry, he's not. He's not good. This game shouldn't have been close. I don't know how you fix things when they shouldn't even have to be taught. They're just common sense. It's unbelievable to me. Is Ewers gone for sure? For the whole season, no. I actually think he'll probably be back versus Iowa State again. Malik is bad. Malik could play like this again next week, and we'll beat TCU because TCU is not good at all. TCU is nowhere. I mean, TCU's god-awful. TCU's one of the 2 or 3 worst teams in the conference. So we'll beat them. But Iowa State, he needs to be back for because the 3-3-5 defense does give us trouble. Other than today, we did play well versus it. But he needs to be back for that Iowa State game. It's a hard game. I've been saying that for a month now, that I think that's the hardest game left on our schedule. And it would have been if we just hold on in the second half and just honestly hand it off every time and don't allow Malik Murphy to touch the ball for more than 1 second. But it's going to be interesting. I meant for next year. Yeah, I don't see Quinn coming back next year. I don't see a point to it, honestly, for any party. I think it's time to move on. If it's Arch, if it's Malik, then yeah, please come back. Pay him $10 million if you have to, because Malik should never be the quarterback after this year at the University of Texas. Paxton, Sweat is a monster. Sweat is a monster. The whole D-line is very good. Defensively, our safeties are our biggest weakness. Jaron Thompson gets burned again for a touchdown. I like Michael Tapp as like a floating type guy and a ball hawk. I like Catalon coming downhill and hitting people when he is healthy. And I like Derek Williams, but he's just not there yet. Derek Williams will probably be, out of the 4 guys, be our best coverage guy when it's all said and done, but he's just not ready this year. But yeah, Sean, I mean, I don't see a scenario unless he gets paid a lot of money and falls out of the first 2 rounds that he comes back. Right now, he's like a late first round, early second round pick. You got to leave at that point. Christopher Foote with a random question. I feel like everyone likes that, so I don't know. Fix the dumb penalties. Fix the dumb penalties. Get penalties called on you that deserve to be called. Because DJ Campbell did not hold on that one play. That was not a hold. It was a god-awful call. That was a pass interference on Xavier Worthy. Byron Murphy on that 4th down play at the goal line was getting held. He gets held almost every play. It never gets called. So yeah, it's interesting. What's up, Longhorn Nation? What's up, Jackson? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for sharing out the show last time, Jackson, too. Rod, even though the QB was bad, the play calling was bad. Was it? I saw guys open, and he didn't throw it. I saw the one play to Xavier Worthy. He's open by 10 yards. He underthrows him. The one by Xavier Worthy where he was getting held. If he throws that ball later and throws it towards the pylon, guess what? It's a touchdown. The play calling, fine. It wasn't great. I'll give you that. But Malik Murphy did not help the play calling. That's the difference between, I think Texas fans are now realizing. So Quinn Ewers, when a play wasn't open, he's the opposite of Malik. He is way too conservative. He's not going to put it in harm's way at all. Whereas Malik is the total opposite. He's going to put it in harm's way every time he throws it. Because guess what? He's not accurate. So if the guy's open, he throws it behind him. And then he's going to see something that isn't there and throw it anyway. So it's very interesting to me. So no. I don't think it's the play calling as much as it is Malik Murphy. And I do agree. The play calling, the only thing I would have said about that, like, it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's like mediocre to me at this point. He should have run the ball more. I would agree with that. But that's the only thing I have to say about that. Malik got cocky early. No offense. If he got cocky, then what? Like, that's not a cocky throw. Throwing a screen that late to an offensive lineman when your running back's not there. That's not a cocky throw. That's a stupid throw. A cocky throw is a jump ball type throw. He wasn't throwing those. He was throwing these balls that had no bit, and he's been doing it. He did that versus BYU when he had no business being cocky. That's just who he is. I'm sorry. I've seen enough football to where I know when a guy is who he is, and he is who he is, you're not going to take that out of him. He's a gunslinger. He's going to make really stupid throws a lot of the time, and you're going to have to live with them. I just don't see it. Yeah, Paxton, I agree with you, but that was one throw. If you're getting cocky off one throw, that's a whole nother issue that we'd have to discuss. And that wasn't even a great throw. If he should have threw that out in front of AD Mitchell. It was a good throw, but he's just not it, guys. He's not. Nothing's going to change my mind on that. He could go for 30 for his next 30. It's in his mind. That's the problem. I know it's in there. And when it's in there, it usually comes out at the worst of times because that's what you do. At the end of the day, we all rely on who our basic instincts are as people. That happens in football all the time. And if you get that out of Malik, or if you get those plays out of Malik's head, he's eventually going to make them just because that's who he is. That's who he is. You're not going to be able to get rid of that. He's young. That's, again, an excuse. Quinn Ewers was not making these decisions last year. They're bad throws. It's okay. He's not that good. I don't understand why people can't come to terms with that. I've watched him enough. He's got god-awful footwork. He makes really bad decisions, and that is a very bad combination. I think his footwork can get better. That's something you can work on. Decision-making, there's not many quarterbacks that get better decision-making. There isn't. There isn't guys that I've seen, oh, I'm going to make this throw where it's not open at all, and then a year later, oh, I'm not going to make that throw. There's still going to be throws they make that are just god-awful decisions, and you're going to have to live with it. And I'm just not willing to live with that, especially with the team we have. Our defense is too good for that. Our wide receivers are too good for that. Our running backs are too good for that. Our offensive line is too good for that. It's too good for the quarterback to mess it up. The ball should be taken out of his hands as much as possible next week. I don't want him over 20 to 25 throws. And quite honestly, it would not piss me off if he just pulled the plug and put Arch Manning in there next week, if he gave him the full practice reps, because you can't beat a good team on the road. Luckily, we don't really play one. Iowa State, again, I'm still iffy on, but TCU, we will beat with Malik Murphy if he does play, if he is the quarterback next week. So it's going to be interesting. Yes, thank you, Jackson. Please tune into that, guys, to do a preview show. It's going to be moved. I'm doing a preview show every Wednesday at 7:45 Eastern time. Every Wednesday, 7:45 Eastern time. So go there. We're going to move it because every Tuesday is the playoff selection. Mark has his own show. We're moving it. Arch is raw, 100% Arch is raw. But do you think Arch Manning is making those throws? I don't. He has Peyton Manning at his disposal. He has Eli Manning at his disposal. He has Archie Manning at his disposal. Those guys, you may not like them, but they are all pretty damn smart football players. Eli had the biggest issues with turnovers, but most of the time they weren't bad, like just bad decisions. It was just he doesn't have the strongest arm, and he was willing to take certain chances. Malik Murphy's just making bad decisions. He's making bad decisions, and it's hard for me to defend someone that makes bad decisions. It is. Who likes the play? These are just random questions. Take the win and run. Oh, I'm taking the win and running because we shouldn't have won that game. We got very lucky. Kansas State from the fourth quarter on was the better team. They should have kicked that field goal and gone into overtime because guess what? Texas is terrible in the red zone. And if you just survive another overtime, it's trading 2-point conversions. You're going to win that game. So they should have kicked it. We got lucky. They got lucky in a couple instances too. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Take the win and move on. We play TCU next week. We should win that game. We should. Like I said, pretty interesting, but it'll be interesting. Agree, Matthew. I think Arch will make better decisions with 100%. And that's what it comes down to, guys. If you think you're better than every team you play here on out, the only way they beat you is if you beat yourself. That's the only way. And I tweeted that out. I said the only team on the field today that can beat Texas is the people are the guys in burnt orange. That's the only team. And they tried. Malik tried his hardest to give him the game. He really tried. So it's interesting. Jackson 100% agree. Texas almost blew. And I'm glad you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. You guys are backing up with what I thought. Because if I came on here and said these things, then you guys would know Kansas State was just the better team. Maybe I'm wrong. But to me, my eyes said Texas was the far better team. And Malik Murphy was throwing that game away. And he was. He honestly was. So I'm not crazy, apparently. That's a good thing. And guys, we can talk a little bit more about any game you want to talk about. We don't just have to talk about Texas. My rant is over on them. Obviously, take the win. Play calling, I do agree, wasn't great. Wasn't terrible though. You just need a guy that's not going to make game costly decisions, and Malik just constantly does that. And I just don't understand how people can defend him. You can say, "Oh, he's young. Oh, he's raw." Da 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 da. You just have some of these throws should never be made at the peewee level, at the high school level. He's making throws that they should never be attempted. That's my biggest issue with him. He's making throws that should never be attempted, and he's doing it on a routine basis. On a routine basis, and it's infuriating, honestly. Oh, watch yourself with TCU's. The problem I have with TCU's, Jackson, their offense, who's their quarterback's not that good. And then their defense, like, they don't have anything that's like, damn, that scares me. Kansas State had a couple things like, damn, that scares me. And they just don't. Iowa State, their defense scares me. And if Malik's going to play like this, we probably can't beat them on the road. I'm starting to come to those terms. I'm hoping Quinn will be back. At that point, it'll be a month. The time frame on those injuries is usually 3 to 6 weeks. A lot of guys usually do 3 weeks and then get it shot, and they're usually good. I'm hoping that's what he does. We don't even need Quinn to be good in that game. We honestly need a guy just to go in there, be able to throw it 15, 20 times, try to push the ball down the field a little bit so you can open up the run game underneath versus the 3-3-5 and hold on to the ball. That's what we need. 100%, Jim. That is definitely the case. 100%. You're right on that. Great teams on their off days find a way to win, and we're still alive for that national championship. And I really believe if Quinn Ewers comes back, we can win a national championship. I fully believe that. By the way, guys, the beginning goal of this year was a Big 12 championship in 10-2. We could lose a game, and we're still going to be in that Big 12 championship game because this was a Big 12 elimination game for the championship game. It was, because if we lose, that would give us 2 losses. Kansas State would only have 1. They would have to lose 2 more of the next 3, and they weren't going to do that. So we're good. We're probably going to be in the Big 12 championship game. I don't see us losing 2 games out of the next 3 unless catastrophic things happen. And then the Oklahoma State game is kind of the same way. The loser of that game is not going to probably make it to the Big 12 championship game. There's about a 95% chance they don't. And it's going to be interesting. It could be Texas and Oklahoma State, or Texas and Kansas in a rematch, or Texas and Iowa State in a rematch. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting. I think Texas basically booked it up today for the Big 12 championship. But the opponent will be interesting, guys. I don't know who it's going to be. The Big 12 is wide open. Today's a big day for the Big 12. It's a really fun day. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State playing right now. I don't know what the score of that game is. And then Iowa State and Kansas play at 7. Going to be a very, very, very good day for Big 12 football. Texas versus Oklahoma. Christopher Foote says Oklahoma wins today. Definitely could be the case. They only really, I think they play West Virginia. That's like their hardest game left. I had them losing to BYU in the offseason. They're not going to lose to BYU. BYU is very bad. BYU might be, they're the second worst team in the Big 12 is what I would say. I think Cincinnati's by far and away the worst team. And then BYU's either the second or third worst team in the Big 12. Obviously, I thought Iowa State. I think I had Iowa State as this worst team in the Big 12. I was dead wrong on that. I might have had him second. I know Cincinnati and Iowa State were bouncing around for me. Matthew, is it time for a beer? I don't drink, so it may be time for you to drink. It may be time. If I did, I would be drinking heavily right now. So it'd be very good time for that. Yes, you can definitely crack one open. If I'm having one, though, I'm having 8 because I'm trying to forget that game. That was the most frustrating I've been while watching games, or frustrated I've been since of watching a game in probably Texas versus Oklahoma 2 years ago, because that was frustrating too, going up by 20. We went up by 21 that game, and I kept saying, we have to get up by 28. We have to get up by 28, and we could never get up by 28. It was the same in this game. I said if you get up 24, you'd win pretty easily, but you could never crack that. There's always a number in my mind you got to crack, and they never were able to crack that. And Sark should, by the way, the one decision I'm going to say, and I said it beforehand, he should have kicked that field goal. You go up 20-0. You have to kick that field goal, especially when you're not going on 4th down. You're not in the red zone. Well, we were actually pretty decent on 4th down, but we're not good on 4th down in the other opponent's territory that deep in the red zone. Don't do that. You're marrying two things there. You're not good on short play calls, especially with Malik, and you're in the red zone. Kick the field goal, go up by 3 scores. Go up by 3 scores. Because at that point, too, Kansas State was having a real hard time moving the ball, real hard time. They really weren't able to move the ball until late in the second quarter. They started going. And that's the thing, too. You can win games that way. You really can if you blitz a team early and then run it late. But the problem is Texas turned it over in those situations, and we didn't get a big enough lead. You have to get a big enough lead. 17-0 is not a big enough lead in college football anymore. You got to keep playing. Crackback blocks are illegal. Yes, they are. Yes, 100%. Texas very lucky to get out with 100%. Very, very, very lucky. Should have won by more. Could have lost. It's very, very interesting. Horns overcame themselves. Kansas State and the refs. Okay. The refs, yes, they were bad. Do I think they were costing us the game? No, we were doing that to ourselves pretty easily, especially, again, Malik Murphy. I hate just clowning on a guy, but it's really hard when I'm watching a game and he's making decisions that I think a 5 and 6-year-old could easily not make. And that's my biggest issue. They held them, though. Got to give them credit. Thank you for that. I do agree. I'm not even going to lie. I went downstairs to do this preview show when Sanat caught that play, got him down inside this 7-8 yard line. I was like, we're going to lose. And then I went back up and we won. I didn't even watch it because I was so angry, guys. I was so pissed off. It infuriated me because tweeted this out too. I've never seen a game where a team dominates that much and was tied. I've never seen that. It's very, very, very frustrating. I know I was frustrated by our own play as well. That's the issue. I have no issue when a team is like, damn, they just beat us. They just beat us. And that wasn't this game. That was it's like we took our gun out of our safe and decided let's blow our own heads off, because that's exactly what we did in this game. It had nothing to do with Kansas State for the most part. It had 85% of that, 80 to 85% of that was all on us. If we just did the things we were supposed to do and not make stupid decisions, we win this game by probably two plus touchdowns. And we did not do it. And again, that shows you how good this team is, though, guys. Kansas State is a legit top 25 team in the country. A legit. There's not 20. There may be 20 to 23, maybe. You might be able to argue. They're for sure top 30. Let's say they're a top 30 team, and you just beat them by 3 when you played a C- game. That's the thing, too. It's so frustrating. Just play an A game, you win by 3 touchdowns. And I told Mark this in the offseason. I said, if Texas is going to lose multiple games, which they probably will, it'll be because of Texas. It won't be because of the opponent. It will be because of Texas, because there's only one team on our schedule that has the talent we did, and that was Alabama. That was the only team on our schedule that has the talent and coaching we have. And we beat them. We should not have lost to Oklahoma. We played it like a C- game in that one as well. And they ended up winning. I will say this, at least Oklahoma played an A game there. Kansas State didn't even play their A game. I thought Kansas State played like a B+ game, B game. And we were just trying to give it to them. We really were. It was just frustrating. Notre Dame is so bad. I bet on that one too. I thought Clemson would win. Notre Dame is highly overrated per usual. That Ohio State win looks worse and worse every week. That's their second best win, I guess. Penn State, I also don't think is that good. I think Michigan beats them by probably 2 to 3 touchdowns next week. And if they do that, Ohio State's best win of the whole season is going to be a Penn State team that goes 10-2 per usual, because they lose to no one else other than Michigan and Ohio State. And by the way, that doesn't make you a good team. James Franklin and Penn State keep getting away with this, and I absolutely hate it. You go 10-2 in the Big Ten, but you play 2 hard games every year, and you lose them every time, but you beat all these other teams that aren't good. Cool. What does that 10-2 actually mean? It means nothing. So I don't understand that. Great Moose. Great teams find a way to win, even when they're not at their best. Texas did what they had to do 100%. You take the wins, you move on. Believe me, I know that because 2 years ago we were 5-7, so I'll take the win. Paxton, Kansas State coach, went for the win. I did like the aggressiveness. But again, coaches need to have a better grasp on the game itself. I agree. If you're just in a vacuum, I think that's not a bad situation to go for. But situationally, I think it was a terrible situation to go for it, because Texas is reeling at that point. Their offense can't really move, and they're not a good closed-in team in the red zone. They're not. They're better in between the 20s, and overtime is literally played basically in the red zone. So to me, kick the field goal and keep moving that game along. To me, when you're the better team, you want the game to go on longer. When you're to go on longer. If you're the worst team, you want to end that thing as quickly as possible. And Kansas State was the better team at the end of the game. Make that game go as long as you possibly can, and you'll just end up winning because you're the better team. It's a war. Better teams win the war of attrition, and Kansas State at the end of the game was the better team. So just kick the field goal. If Rutgers actually had a QB, she'd probably lose today. Yeah, I watched the game for like 7 minutes. Obviously, I'm watching Kansas State, Texas. Rutgers was dominating the line of scrimmage in that game when I did watch it. I watched 3 to 4 minutes at the end of the second quarter and 3 to 4 minutes at the beginning of the third. And in the 7-8 minutes I caught of that game, they were dominating the line of scrimmage, which shocked me, but it was interesting. They were outplayed in almost every category. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But it's interesting. Ohio State Michigan is going to be a very interesting game, especially with all the stuff going on right now. So, and it's always the last 3 to 4 years has been a really good game. It's probably not going to be any different this year. And I don't think Ohio State can lose and go to the playoff. I know that's been floated out. No. Example, Texas, Ohio State, Big 12 champ, no champ. We beat Alabama. We beat Kansas State. We beat whoever we play in the Big 12. Let's say it's Oklahoma. We beat Oklahoma. We have 3 wins if you stack them up 1, 2, 3. Alabama, Penn State. Alabama's better than Penn State. Second win would be Oklahoma versus who? Oklahoma would wipe the floor with every team that Ohio State has played, other than Maryland, probably. If you want to debate that, you could debate that. And then Kansas State. We're talking third at that point. I don't even know who the third best team it would be for Ohio State. Maybe Rutgers. Kansas State would kill Rutgers. Time management is still concerning. 100%. Listen, Steve Sarkisian does some things I don't like, and I'm not going to agree with every coaching decision he ever makes. But who do I have him to compare against? Like Tom Herman? I'm going to take Steve Sarkisian. Charlie Strong? I'm going to take Steve Sarkisian. At the end of Mac Brown's tenure at Texas, I'm taking Steve Sarkisian. If you want to talk to me about prime Mac Brown era, I would agree with you. I would take him. But then there's like 2 coaches in the history of Texas who would take over Steve Sarkisian at this point. If you're comparing him against every team's best coach ever or every team's top 2 coaches ever, he's probably not that good. But if you're comparing against who we've had, he's probably going to end up being the 3rd best coach we've ever had. Paxton, ranked Kansas win. Good point, Paxton, Kansas. Your boy right here predicted Kansas go 9-3 in the Big 12 championship game. They may not make the Big 12 championship game. I think they are going to go 9-3. They play that Kansas State team, and they play them at home, and they can beat them. If they win tonight, they will be 9-3. They will be 9-3. And by the way, no one else predicted that. I also want some love for this. I said Jonathan Brooks was a dark horse Heisman contender in the preview shows, and I got laughed at for saying Jonathan Brooks was a dark horse Heisman contender. He's a dark horse Heisman contender. Is he going to win it? Absolutely not. But he'll be in the top 10 in voting. I'm pretty confident in saying that. And no one else predicted that at the beginning of the season. And to show that I'm not just bragging, those are 2. I was wrong about Ohio State. I said they'd be the 3rd best team in the Big 10. They're either going to be the 1st or 2nd. So I was wrong on that. I'm willing to admit when I'm right, but I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, but I'm also going to brag a little bit when I'm right. And I was right about those 2 things. I was right about Kansas being very good, and I was right about Jonathan Brooks possibly being Jonathan Brooks being a dark horse Heisman contender, because that's exactly what he did, what he is. The one thing I did hate, Jonathan Brooks fumbles. Kansas State goes in and scores. We don't see Jonathan Brooks on the next 2 to 3 carries. We see CJ Baxter. Jonathan Brooks is better than CJ Baxter. Jonathan Brooks does not go down on the first tackle ever. He falls forward every time. To punish him there literally cost us another drive. So, and by the way, I had the ball right here and a helmet came. That's a fumble no matter who's carrying the football. That's the one spot to where if you're hit the ball with your helmet, it's coming out no matter who the running back is. So I absolutely hated the benching there for the next couple of plays. That was very stupid. Exactly. Great. That was a great point. Thank you, Paxton. That's exactly what it was. It's a freak play that happens once in a while. Give the guy a break. I hate that shit. If he's just holding it out here and the ball gets hit out, bench him. but he's holding it high and tight, and it's a helmet there. That's going to be a fumble. That pissed me off. That was like one of the 2 or 3 things Sark did that pissed me off. Christopher Foote, is Kansas very good? Yes, they are. I know you keep hating on. You've been the one guy that continually says, "Oh, is Kansas not that good? Or is Kansas good? Is Kansas?" Yes, they are good. Kansas is going to be 9-3 at the end of the year, and you're going to sit here like an idiot because you kept saying Kansas isn't that good. Even if they go 8-4, they're still a top 30 team in the country at that point. They're still good. So I stop with that. But that was a great point, Paxton. That's exactly what it was, and stuff like that infuriates me. A guy's going to fumble once in a while. That too. I said, and this was my prediction. That was my prediction on Kansas. I said if Kansas has Jalen Daniels for, I didn't say 12 out of 12 games. I said if he plays 10 out of 12 games, they'll be in the Big 12 championship game. He's already way under that. He's only going to play maybe 5 or 6 if he comes back starting tonight, and I don't think he's coming back. He's a top 10 quarterback in the country. So yes, they would be. They honestly might have gone 10-2 with Jalen Daniels. Lance Leipold is fantastic. Michigan State, throw some money at him. It'd be a good hire. Texas A&M, throw some money at him. It would be a good hire. Texas A&M won't do it because that's embarrassing to hire a coach from Kansas. But if you take your ego out of it, Lance Leipold would turn around Texas A&M. He would scare the bejesus out of me if I'm a Texas fan or an SEC fan. He's one of the 10 best football coaches in the country. People are going to say, oh, what about this guy? This guy. He is a head coach at Kansas, guys, and he's doing this. Head coach at Kansas. He's phenomenal. I had him ranked as the second best coach in the Big 12, or third best, I think second or third best coach in the Big 12. I had Gundy 1 and either him 2 or Chris Klieman 2. By the way, I have nailed a lot of the Big 12 previews and predictions I've had, so I've been proud of that. Wrong on some other stuff, but good on that. Hell, imagine. I would love that. I would love that, but it's not going to happen. So no, we're done. I'm not even. Hell, imagine Texas with Daniels. But yeah, like I said, I think I had Gundy, Klieman, and Leipold. And I'm cool with those predictions because Gundy's doing a pretty damn good job with not a very good Oklahoma State team. Leipold's doing a really good job with a decent Kansas team. He's elevated them. And then Klieman just wins wherever he goes. So I liked it. Steve Sarkisian, I think I had 9th or 10th. He's definitely higher than that. He's probably 5th, 6th. I would have him. I'd probably have him there. I think Kalani Sitake is a very good coach. He's just not in a great situation right now. I still like Gus Malzahn. Yeah, I'd probably have Sark 5th or 6th, honestly. I think those 2 guys that I just mentioned would probably be just as good with his talent as Sark has been. So I would have those 2 guys ahead of him probably. Thank you, Paxton, for joining. Hit that like button on your way out. Hook 'em, guys. But guys, I really appreciate you being here. We need to promote this one other time. Go over to the SEC channel, subscribe there. Go over to the Big 12 channel and subscribe there. Go to the Texas channel and subscribe there. I'm here every Wednesday at 7:45 Eastern time, the 40 Acres preview show, and this is the 40 Acres postgame show. So go over, hit that like button, subscribe on those channels. Texas does get the win 33-30. And also, guys, if you're going to go to a game, you want to sit in a good tickets. You don't want to sit in the nosebleeds. You're probably going to have to spend a decent amount of money to do that. To go to ticketsmarter.com, type in code BIG for $10 off a purchase of $100 or more, and then type in code BIG20 for $20 off a purchase of $300 more. If you're going to a game like this and you sit in decent seats, you're going to probably spend $250 to $350. If you're spend over $300, type in that code BIG20, take $20 off, save that money, or hell, use it at the stadium, get a couple of beers, whatever you want to do, but save some money, guys. Go over to ticketsmarter.com and do that. I think you had Sarkisian 9th. Point differential is irrelevant. Okay, I don't know what that means. I think you had Sarkisian 9th. Yeah, I think I did too. I think he was either 9, 10, or 11. I think he was 9th, though. I think you're right, Christopher. Just an interesting week, interesting game. A lot of things are going to be decided this week. That Oklahoma State game happening right now, that's going to decide a lot of things. And I've loved talking with you guys, loved hanging out, but I think I'm going to go run and catch that. So, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Again, 7:45 Eastern time this Wednesday. We will talk about this game. And then we also talk about next week versus TCU. So, again, like and subscribe at Mark Rogers TV. Like and subscribe at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, the Big 12 channel. And go over to SG1 Sports Texas channel. It's part of Mark's too. Hit that subscribe button on each of those. Hit that like button on each of those. You guys have been awesome. Hook 'em, guys. Texas does get the win 33-30. And I will be back Wednesday night, guys. Thank you.